You're listening to the podcast hosted by TheRPGMinx and our special guest.
Hey, this episode's all about tits.
Really?
Yeah, my tits. Oh, Rocco.
Hi everyone, and welcome to a new installment of the podcast. I'm here as always with Definition.
Hello.
And we're joined by our very special guest today. This is Skinner. Hi.
Hello.
Now, for those of you who don't know, Skinner used to be a relatively popular YouTuber here in terms of Let's Play and things like that. She's much more into her live streaming type thing now. So before we start, why the move?
Well, I think that Let's Play started out as screenshots on somethingawful.com, and it was screenshots because not everyone could download fast video back in 2007, 2008. And as time has gone on, people have been able to do more HD video, clearer quality, better looking stuff, HD cap cards and whatnot. But for me, I think that it's become more of an interactive thing. So the closer we get to live, the closer I can interact with the people that I'm playing for. And I think it's just more interactive. I like being able to talk to the people I'm playing for rather than answering questions later. And also, I feel a lot less pressure because when you make mistakes in a live recording, you can go, oh, whatever, let's move on. But if it's a video, people will comment for years on mistakes that you've made, I'm sure you know all about that.
I do. Oh, you missed this thing at 6 minutes, 18 seconds. Why haven't you gone back and got it? Because I recorded it a fucking month ago.
Right, exactly. Yep.
I mean, to be fair, it's not something I'm going to start hopefully doing my first live stream at the end of the month. So it's something I haven't done before, but I am looking to get into doing it. I mean, do you have any tips for someone starting to do live streaming? Or
really, just have fun with it and have a good moderator base. Because when you're streaming and you start getting a lot of hateful comments or people coming in that don't know you and they're saying weird things, it starts dragging away your fun. So you have to have a good moderator base to just be the people that are like, hey, be cool. We're trying to have a fun time. And I think that's one thing. And also just remember that if it's shitty, you can just delete the recording later and it already happened. It's not a big deal. Whereas I feel with Let's Plays, it's a little more I recorded this video and I want it to be good, Okay. So,
I mean, it sounds like it's going to have a good atmosphere to it, hopefully, and hopefully people will be able to, like you say, interact with me on a different level. I mean,
yeah.
To be fair, I've been to very few live streams. I mean, Def, you've probably been to a few, I'd imagine.
I'm usually at all of Sam's live streams.
Okay.
I go to hers as often as I can. But yeah, I usually go to hers. Mike Mnemonic streams a lot, and I'm usually at his streams and stuff like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been to quite a few.
And is it a good atmosphere? Do you feel it's a better atmosphere than obviously than sitting just watching a fucking video that's?
Oh, I love it. I do enjoy it more than actually sitting on YouTube and watching Let's Plays and stuff because I don't really get into. I mean, you have to be a very specific person for me to watch your Let's Plays. When I watch, Cry now.
Yeah. Mostly,
I've been watching a lot of his. And but if he did a live stream, I would take time out of my day to make sure I was there to see his live stream.
Okay, I'm looking forward to doing that. It sounds like it's going to be good. Anyway, moving on from that, we'll just start talking about some general gaming stuff. We always talk about general gaming stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
And first question, generic question we always ask is, what have you been playing lately, Sam?
Oh my gosh. I have finally beaten Mom in Binding of Isaac. And I spent way too many hours getting there. I've never played a twin stick shooter before like that. And I'm not really good at the keyboard when it comes to doing the WASD and the keys. But I didn't use a controller. And the game it's really fun, but you can put so many hours into it without realizing it. I don't know if either of you have played it that much, but
I played it a lot. Yeah,
it really just knows how to dick you over. Sometimes you get real lucky, and that's when you can make a run. But you can spend an hour even getting the right items playthrough before you die, and that can be a real pain in the ass.
I really suck at Binding of Isaac. When I play it, I don't think I only ever get to the caves second floor, and that's as far as I make it. I just get destroyed, and I played 10 hours and I'm still shit.
Right, but the thing about the game though is that you don't if I was playing, I don't know, any other game I can think of, and I died and I lost everything, I would be so mad. But in this game, I'm just well, let's start again, and I have a fun time continuing on from the beginning, even though I know it's kind of the same thing over and over again, just with different items and different floor layouts.
It's very addictive. That's what makes it great, isn't it? It's like a very compelling game. Even though I suck at it, I still enjoy playing it. It's something I always fire up from time to time, to keep playing. And it really
just
works
like
well.
one more time, one more try. I'll do it one more try, and you just one more try turns to 20, and you don't stop.
That's the key to like a good arcadey type game, though, isn't it? Like,
for sure.
Keeps you going.
I
Anything
have
else?
I have it, but I haven't played it yet. But after recording Smash TV, I think I'm ready to go for this.
I think you should be. I think you'll enjoy it. It's like sometimes it's like a sort of game you start up, you'll play a bit, and then find you've blown 3 hours, and you didn't make much progress, but you wanted to, and you kept trying.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if I've ever talked to anyone that has actually played the game that hasn't liked it. Like anyone I've seen hating on it, we're just like, this looks stupid. Well, you didn't play it, so how do you know?
Exactly.
You gotta give it a shot.
I think people tend to jump to conclusions, especially when they see simplified graphics, which is really sad because graphics basically mean nothing in terms of actual fun.
Well, like, I mean, in my opinion, like I have like a hierarchy of what's really important in the game. And I think that the gameplay is for sure my personal, like number one important thing. And with Binding of Isaac or any like game, like, I mean, that is a simplified looking game. The fact that the gameplay is so intense and almost, I don't want to use the word magical for some reason, because like, you're like, ooh, new items, ooh, new floors. Like, it's just exciting and new. And it's like, I mean, the fact that it looks simple makes me want to play it more.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I can do more with it. As opposed to like something where I'm just like, oh, like I saw a friend playing Saints Row 3 the other day, and I liked Saints Row 2 a lot, but it's such a big game and there's so much to do. I just feel overwhelmed. Whereas, Binding of Isaac, you sit down, you're like, all right, I have these things to do. I need to, my goal is get to next floor. And so that's the only thing I focus on, and I can move quickly towards that goal if I want, or I can go slowly towards the goal. I can explore, I can get items, whatever I'm in the mood to do in the game.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Def, what have you been playing these last few days or weeks?
Well,
Not a lot.
well, no, I have, because I've been just trying out some new games. I keep seeing people get Maple Story, so I downloaded Maple Story.
Oh, dear.
Crap game, by the way. I
Of all the
hate
games.
it so much. I feel like Maple Story's key configuration was like thought up by probably someone with autism.
Wow.
It makes no goddamn. It's like when we play DayZ. You know how fucked up the. You got.
Like, I better run, but I need to press a different key to stop running, and then a different key to turn slightly.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's dumb. It's bad because it's an MMO. So you think MMO, well, WASD, and then you're just pretty much every game. Your hotkeys are your 1, 2, 3, 4. Your WSAD is not your move keys. Your hotkeys are delete, insert, and home page up, page down.
Of course, yes. Those popular keys.
Like, that's the thing about, like, the way gaming has changed in the past, I don't know, like 10 years. When you think about, like, the time of, like, okay, well, Legend of Zelda, like the camera in Ocarina of Time, the camera in Ocarina of Time has really, like, become the camera of the way video games work a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But when you come to other games that came out in that time period, that came out, like, slightly before that or slightly after, they didn't realize this is going to be, like, now when you play a video game, you pick up the controller, one controls one thing, one controls the other. Your shoot button is probably one of your trigger buttons. Like, there's kind of like a setup of keys. And when a game really breaks that setup, then you don't know what the hell to do with the game.
Exactly,
it's like, I thought it was WSD, but for some reason it's like TFGH, and you're like, why did they do that? Like, this is stupid.
Ridiculous key layouts really are still a problem. Sometimes in new games, and it's just silly though, because we're so used to this layout now that if something feels slightly different, it can spoil the game. It really can detract from it. Like DayZ is horrible to play. It's really a fucking mess. It really
I haven't
is.
played it. Unfortunately, I have a Mac, so I haven't played it yet. A lot of my friends really like it though, but I can understand, like, if you're playing it's a survival horror game where you have like one shot, right? Like, or then you start over if you die. But like,
you die a lot.
Yeah. So like, if you can't control it well enough, it's the same problem I had when I first picked up the first Resident Evil, and I was like, oh, what the fuck is this tank control stuff? Like, I don't understand what I'm doing. And if you can't control the game, you can't have fun.
Yeah.
So,
I'm still shit at Resident Evil, even after all these years. I hate the earlier games controls. Oh, they're horrible.
oh yeah, no, they're just tank controls just don't make any sense unless you're controlling a tank. Like, okay, then I got it, but.
So, anything else other than MapleStory, Def, or?
Killing Floor with you guys, as you already know.
Of course.
Saints Row 3. Yeah, I've been playing Saints Row 3. I played Saints Row 3 with Mullen, which that pretty much gameplay for me boils down to how naked you can get your character and then beating people up senseless. So,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when I played 2, most of my gameplay was running around with the samurai sword naked with my character that I made, a fat lady with a beard and mustache.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah. I feel like the only thing that's changed from sandbox shooter to sandbox shooter is like the intensity of the boob physics. And that's about it.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I've been playing, to be fair, like most of the stuff I've been playing is stuff that people will have seen on the channel. Like I've been doing a bunch of Amnesia mods.
I love Amnesia. That's the scariest game I've ever played. And you know, I play a lot of survival horror games.
Yeah.
Scariest thing I've ever played. In fact, I started playing Rule of Rose, and it scared the crap out of me. And then I played Amnesia for like 5 hours, and nothing will ever scare me ever again. I picked up Rule of Rose, and I was like, what is this shit? Where am I going? I don't even care. Like, nothing will ever scare me ever again. And I still haven't even beat Amnesia. I'm sure you've beaten Amnesia by now, but I've never beaten it, and I don't know if I can. It's just...
We touched on this last time. Def owns it and has been too scared to fucking play it.
Played it all? Oh my god, okay, well... Wow.
I mean, I played a lot. I played lots of mods, and I guess I'm kind of used to the scares now and the mechanics to the point I can exploit them a little. But it is the scariest game ever. And I mean, other than that, for fun, I haven't been playing a huge amount of stuff. I've been playing mostly stuff for recording. I'm also like Guild Wars 2 came out today, the day we're recording this, even though it'll be a bit later when you guys actually hear us talking about this. But I played 6 hours today from launch till now already, and I must say I'm addicted. It's possibly the most fun I've had in an MMO launch ever. I've been around quite a lot of them.
Really?
More than Rift, yeah, more than Rift. I enjoyed queuing up for 6 hours when I was playing Rift.
I don't know. It's gotta be really good for me to say it's gonna be better than Rift.
It might be better than EverQuest 1 and 2, which I still hold as the holy grail of MMOs. So, I don't know.
Wow, yeah.
I have to wait and see. I haven't played enough to give a full opinion yet, but I really, really fucking like it. So, yeah.
Is it like much different from the first one at all, or?
I never played Guild Wars 1.
Okay.
I haven't either. Yeah.
It feels very different to every other MMO I've played. Like if you're used to the WoW model of MMOs and you play Guild Wars, you'll be like, "What the fuck is going on?" You'll be totally confused. It's not really hotkey based, and it's just the combat is much more about movement and dodging and things like that. Even when you're soloing, than it is. It feels much more actiony. Like you have to constantly roll out the way to avoid attacks and things like that. And I don't know. There's like a huge range of abilities and things as well. To the point I feel that probably no two classes will be the same. No two characters of the same class will have the same layout of abilities completely because there's that much variation, like a ridiculous amount. And that's great because it's nice to have a big degree of variation. But that said, I haven't played enough to pass the final judgment yet. I've just really enjoyed what I have played, and there really feels like there's no grinding. It feels like you're constantly exploring, finding new things. You're rewarded for going off the beaten track, and there's lots of hidden things like deep off the set paths. It doesn't feel like a hub-based MMO. You don't go from hub to hub. You're literally free to explore, and you'll level as you go, and it's like an adventure, as it were.
Man, that sounds way better than like go do this, go do that, go do this.
It really is. I mean, I don't want to like sort of fangirl out over it, but I'm really, really enjoying it so far.
No, you should fangirl over it if you like something. You know?
Yeah. And the other thing I haven't played it yet, but I'm really looking forward to Grey, which I'm going to record shortly. It's a new horror mod. It's a Half-Life 2 horror mod that has like quite a large budget behind it, I believe, and quite a lot of effort's been put in. And it looks really impressive. I've been following it for a while.
I find a lot of horror games just from looking at your channel because you know so many more than I do, and I'm like, ooh, what's she playing now? I'm gonna have to see what that is.
But yeah, I mean, this one I was so like, I was really looking forward to. I put some money into it myself. I donated some money and stuff, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I've downloaded it. I haven't had a chance to play it yet because Guild Wars 2 is kind of taking priority today. But tomorrow I'll sit down and play some Grey and see how it goes. But yeah, I guess that's what we've been playing, guys. Obviously, if you have any questions about the games, feel free to leave a comment and stuff, and we will reply. Next, we're going to talk about something I feel is probably very close to Sam's heart here. Sam is fairly outspoken about her views on female characters in gaming and the view the gaming industry has of women as a whole. And I'm going to give her a chance here to have a little chat about that. So,
oh yeah, for sure. You want me to just go for it? Like,
I think you should just go for it. I'd like to hear why is this important? Why is this something that people need to be aware of within the industry?
I think for me, like, I didn't even really think about this when I was younger. Like, and I want to go on the record and say, like, I'm not like super like our gaming industry or something like that. Like, I'm not like really like pissed off person sitting here about this. But for me, I think as a woman or like a woman, and I also have a 5-month-old daughter now. Yeah. That it's important to me for there to be, first off, a rounded variety of characters in games that I'm playing. So that doesn't just mean women. That also means like characters of all different physical types and, personality types and whatnot. And I think that what happens is that a lot of the gaming community is male. And I understand that. And I know that that is why the things are a lot of the way that they are. A lot of developers are male, and that's, fine. I'm not like, hating on any of that. But I think that as women become more like, prevalent in the game side, and we've always been playing. I don't think women haven't always been playing. I just don't think women have been like developing the way that women are developing now. And there are a lot of female game developers now you may have heard of that are starting to make indie games, which I think is really great because it allows so when I have a character creation screen on video games, there's female characters and male characters, right? And let me use Oblivion as an example. Like for Oblivion, you can make the coolest looking characters. Like you can make my husband, Dan, just started playing it a couple months ago, and he started playing as a night elf or whatever. He made her have black skin. I don't even know what he did. He made a crazy looking female character. But the thing is, it doesn't matter that he's a girl. And in some ways that's fine. Like, of course you don't want the female character to be treated like, titties on a stick or something like that. But there's also nothing different in the game. So sometimes let's say that he's got a letter that he's taking from one place to another. The letter will still refer to his character, her, as he. So like they didn't even really make a female character, but there's like kind of the option there. And I think to me, this is like important that we have the female characters so that women feel more comfortable in gaming and that there's a variety of characters to play as. Because I know a lot of guys, I don't know about you, Def, but a lot of guys like to play as female characters to get a different. I mean, sometimes it's just so they can look at their asses, but whatever.
No, it's true. I do.
But sometimes it's nice to just play. Like, I don't know if either of you have played the first Dragon Age game.
Yeah,
I think is a great example of this. That the female characters they are treated differently, not negatively differently, but just differently. Yeah. And personally, I like when if you sit down to play a video game. You sometimes, especially when you're playing a role-playing game, sometimes you just want to play yourself. So I just sit down, I want to make the character look like me, and I want her to answer the questions that I would answer. But if there's no option to do that, I can't really sometimes, and not always, immerse myself in the game in the same way.
I do understand that from my viewpoint anyway. I mean, going back on what you said about the letter referring to... I think... Bethesda actually have been particularly guilty about that. I remember noticing that in Fallout 3, especially when I had like female cast members hit on my character and refer to me as a guy in the dialogue. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? And I mean, I'm not like accusing them of total laziness because like there's a lot of depth to those games, as it were, in terms of the scale and the variety of stuff you can do.
Yeah, for sure.
But it is noticeable if you're female yourself, and you do notice things like that. Whereas perhaps the majority male gaming market might not, or a male game developer may not notice that in the creation of the game, as it were.
And I think, like, I've had a lot of people tell me, oh, well, and not just Bethesda, but just games in general. Oh, there's only so much they can do. There's only so much space on a disc and only so much time they have. But when you make a game, you are devoting yourself to specific aspects of the game. So some game developers really care about the visuals, so they spend a lot of time on the visuals, like how good it looks, how, you know, like what the character models look like. Some game developers spend, like Edmund McMillan, who makes, you know, the Binding of Isaac and Super Meat Boy. He spends a lot of time on the gameplay, and the gameplay becomes the main focus.
Yeah.
You can devote, like, if you want to make, I mean, Saints Row, we were talking speaking of Saints Row earlier. Saints Row 2, like I said, my character was a really fat lady with a bunch of male characteristics, like a purple beard and a green mustache and long pink hair. And I made her look like whatever I wanted to, because I could mix and match the male and female, you know, body parts. And being a woman, like, it, even though she was like, it still was an interesting experience. But they spent time, you know, maybe it was laziness and they're like, oh, well, whatever, we'll mix and match the characteristics, who cares? But the fact that you could even do that is like kind of revolutionary in a way, that you can make your character whatever you want, as opposed to being like, well, there's boobs. And also, like, I feel like in so many games, like, you can't have a flat-chested woman. Like, the options are big boobs or huger boobs. And like you, like, okay, I want to call into specifically the Borderlands 2 poster that I saw for the pre-order, which I don't know if you saw my tweet about that, but it's 4 characters. There's a tall, skinny guy, a short, stocky guy, like an average looking guy who's like somewhere in the middle height wise, somewhere in the middle weight wise. And then there's one woman, and she's super fucking skinny with huge boobs. So the point I'm trying to make really is, like, for me, I wish that there was more variety in female characters. I don't even think that, like, it has to be all women or whatever, any of that garbage. Like, the fact that, like, there are 3 different male characters and 1 female. Like, there's no, like, you never see, like, a short, fat woman, or it's rare to see a short, fat woman. Like, old women don't exist in video games for the most part. It's like, you know, there are certain archetypes that they show, and they don't allow a full range of female characters. And I think that there are some really good games like Silent Hill 3, which has, like, Heather Mason is one of my favorite video game protagonists ever, because she just literally is like, oh, you know, I don't know if you've done this game or not, but like,
I have.
I love Silent Hill 3 just because, like, I mean, I don't know how you feel about Heather, but I think that she, you know, she's like a 16-year-old girl, and she's like slaying demons, and she doesn't give a fuck. And like, it's awesome. There are characters like that we could be writing, but they're not being written.
I think even Def, like, obviously coming from the male perspective here, I'm sure you wouldn't mind having a variety of female characters in your games at all, would you? I mean, it's not something that infringes on your gameplay, as it were.
Actually,
having
in
a variety.
in the terms of how she explains it too, and I think, Heather being one of those kind of people. I think one of those, probably one of my most favorite female leads in a game, and she is very different from a lot of other female games. I mean, she's not super top heavy. She doesn't have the long flowy hair. She's got a pretty short butch haircut, kind of. Are
you gonna mention it Jade?
Yes.
Yeah, dude. Like, Jade from Good and Evil. I'm sorry to be butt in. She is freaking awesome. Like, Jade from I mean, like, and go ahead and talk about like what you specifically like about her. Just in general.
And it's the thing. She's not like she's not decked out in the most revealing clothing ever. She's wearing jeans, like a shirt and an overcoat over it. You know, she's got her ratty gloves and stuff like that. She's not super like, oh, you know, she's not like ditzy feminine. She's very she's like what you would say like today's modern working girl is. Very strong, very independent kind of woman, and just, you know, she does what she has to do to that kind of thing. She's very confident and everything, and I think that is good. You know, because whenever I play a main character, like a lead character that's a woman, I want a lead character of a woman that's going to be badass in her own way. Yeah,
well, it makes sense. I mean, I must admit, like, I don't mind Heather and Jade as characters. I'm not a huge fan of either of those games. I'm really sorry about the game.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
But yeah, I totally get what you mean. I mean, I guess I'm a big fan of RPGs. I like my RPGs, and I like to, in those scenarios, I like to be able to maybe not put myself into a character, but maybe just fulfill a role or have a character, you know, be the character I want to be, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's not very often that I feel that that is done, which is a shame. Usually, there's something that maybe breaks my immersion slightly, and it's not usually like it's not game destroying or anything like that. But there's sometimes just a few things that sometimes throw you off, like the letters and things like that. Just
right,
a few things that break the immersion.
I mean, I'm not like really like pissed off because I think that they're like, I just think that this is something that I hold important because I recently was talking to someone who was making a video game, and the video game is like big tittied anime bitches kicking the shit out of other big titty anime bitches. And like, when I, point out, this is sexist, like the problem is when women or men, whoever points out that something is sexist, the video game industry gets really mad and really angry because they think we're trying, like, I don't want to say we, but I mean, like anyone like this is trying to take away their games or make every game like hearts and flowers and pink. But like I tweeted this the other day because it really struck home to me. In games oriented towards men, like, I don't know, Saints Row or Oblivion or whatever, your character, like designing your character is the beginning of the game, or clothing your character is like a small portion of the game. For games for quote unquote girls, like DS games or whatever that they make specifically for girls, the game is just the character creation screen.
There is no gameplay.
There's no gameplay. Like there's a series of games for quote unquote for girls. Like that's the problem. The problem is we're making games for girls. Games should not be for anybody. They should just exist. Like we don't need a separate subsection for us. We want to be included with everything else. So to say like, I have this series of games called Imagine. I don't know if you've ever seen these before.
I've heard of them before. Games. Yeah, DS games.
There's one that's like, you like Imagine ballerina or Imagine clothing designer. But one of them is like Imagine vet or Imagine like doctor or something like that, right? So it's a stupid doctor game where you probably don't even do anything. But really, the main important, one of the things they list on the back is the perk for the game. You can design your office. Yeah. Who gives a fuck? This is not an office designing simulator. I want to be a doctor. You know what I mean? Like it's silly the way that we like. I have a Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen game that I bought. I buy these games just because to laugh at them and stuff. Which I'm gonna like plug myself a little bit if that's okay.
That's fine.
In the future, I don't have a specific date yet for it, but if you're following me on Twitch or you want to follow me on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/Ssskinner. I'm going to be doing a marathon where I call the XX Games, where I play nothing but games with female protagonists. And one of the games that I'm probably going to be playing, and some of them are going to be really bad. Like I'm not just going to play good games. I'm going to play bad games too to show things. But one of the games I'm probably going to be playing is this Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen game. And on the front of the box, it says "Real Games for Real Girls."
Oh God!
That's how they look like a lot of gamers. And again, anyone who's listening to this, like, I'm not talking about every gamer. There are plenty of like allies and male gamers who are totally awesome, but the designers like look at girls and think like they need something else. Mario Brothers, like look at Mario Brothers. Is that a game for a boy or a girl? I don't know. Just play the fucking game, dude. Like, but now we have like, because they think that women don't want to do the ultra balance. And I mean, obviously, as you know, Michelle here and I will say, like, I love violence in video games.
Oh, I love violence. Violence is great.
Like both violence of us play survival horror. Like survival horror is an important genre to me, especially because a lot of the games, the main character is like a really weak female character who can't do anything. And I think that's really interesting. Or like even just a weak male character who can't do anything to be put in the position of, having to run away is very cool to me. It's
interesting. I mean, like you said, games should be games. They shouldn't be aimed at a specific male or female market. Games should be games, and if a game's done correctly, it can cater to everyone.
Exactly.
Just like touching on like this isn't a particularly good game, but I loved deleting it. I've touched on this on my channel recently. I like Dragon Age 2. It was a bit shit in terms of gameplay and stuff.
Yet. 1 was amazing though, but yeah. 2
is nowhere near as good as 1. But in 2, it's like a set protagonist, a bit like Mass Effect, like your Shepard or whatever. Yeah. In 2, you get to be Hawk, and my female Hawk was fucking badass. She fucking kicked ass. She was quite butch as well. It was nice to play a slightly different character, and she really rocked. And I loved it because I was really immersed in the character, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And it's rare that I feel that degree of immersion in a character, and it's really nice when it does happen. And the point is, it shouldn't be rare. It should be something that can happen on a regular basis for everyone, not just catering to individual tastes.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that is one thing that I really do. I mean, because I'm also like big on like LGBTQ issues. I think that's one thing that oh God, what is the company that makes Dragon Age right now? It's like
BioWare.
out of my head. BioWare.
Yeah.
That's one thing. BioWare fucks up a lot because everybody fucks up and they're a fucking company, so they're gonna make mistakes. But the fact that they have in Dragon Age, or even just like in Mass Effect, your female character is super strong. She's super awesome. She's fully fleshed out as a character. She has a different voice. I mein, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But the fact that they also have like allow you to have gay and lesbian relationships in those games, that's fucking awesome. Like that's the next step. Like that's pretty much saying to like Fallout, Bethesda in general, hey, we can put this in our games. Now you're just being lazy. Because like if they can take the time to do it, you could pretty much anyone can do it. And I'm not like any like things like Darksiders or whatever. I'm trying to think of games with like Infamous or whatever you want to call it. I'm not mad.
Moral decisions.
That where you have like a single protagonist. He's the way that he is. I'm not like, I love playing games like that, and I feel like those games aren't really like role playing games in the same way, Like, so right. I don't really care if they're male characters. But I mean, Lollipop Chainsaw, I don't know if you've seen that game at all.
I've played it, yeah.
I haven't played it yet. And it's kind of seems like it's verging on the edge of what might be really weird. But she's just a cool character that kicks ass and you don't really have to think about it. And there you go. You got, she's still dressed kind of,
It's fairly mindless. I mean, yeah. I think the good thing about Lollipop Chainsaw is it's very self-aware. I mean, if you want jokes about bulimia and rape and abortion and stuff, you come to the right place with Lollipop Chainsaw.
I think there's always a place to joke about everything. Like, I'm not one of those people that is like, you can't joke about certain specific things. There's always a place to joke about everything, but the joke has to be good. And like I know that it's Suda51, right, that did that game?
It is, yeah.
And everything he does is like ridiculous, over the top, and if you take any moment of anything he does seriously, like you shouldn't be playing these games. You were in the wrong place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Totally right. But yeah, I mean, just games are games, and the sooner games cater to a wider audience in terms of a market of gamers, as it were. Yeah. I think games should be marketed at gamers. I must admit, everyone's free to play casual games and things like that. Obviously, that's fine. I have no problem with the existence of casual games, but there is a certain demographic of people who will buy things like survival horror games, will buy lengthy RPGs and things like that. And as soon as those games can cater to as wide a section of that demographic as possible, that's a wonderful thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for sure, because no one wants to play a game where they feel like it's like watching a movie. Like, no one wants to watch a movie where you can't identify with the main character at all. Like, I watch Breaking Bad. I don't know if either of you guys watch Breaking Bad, but I hate the main character. Dude, I hate the main character so much. I want to punch him in his stupid face. And like,
the kid or the bald guy?
The bald guy, though, the guy that was the dad of Malcolm in the Middle, Walt White.
Yeah.
I hate him so much. And like, I love the show. Like, don't get me wrong, but because I hate the main character so much, it makes it almost painful to watch the show sometimes. So like, I want to be able to identify and like the thing that is in the game the most, which is me.
Exactly.
So like,
exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, we have overrun slightly, but that was a very insightful conversation.
No, it was fun.
I hope you guys have some comments on this, and leave a comment below, like and subscribe, and all that usual shit. And we'll see you next time. Thank you very much for your time there, Sam. I really appreciated it.
It was fun. If anyone has more questions about it, I'm willing to answer.
Link to Sam's Twitch TV below. Go and watch her streams, enjoy her videos, have a great time enjoying her content.
Yes,
anyway,
thank you.
Bye for now, everyone.
Bye.